Good evening. I'm Mike Nichols with PMOPA. Thank you very much for joining us for our arrival briefing ahead of the PMOPA Convention in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin next week. Very thankful to have Jacob Meyer here to present the arrival briefing for us. Jacob is with Archer Aircraft Instructional Services in Phoenix, Arizona area, and he's been in general aviation his entire career, has had a number of roles, including aircraft broker, ferry pilot, flight school operations, but he really enjoys the PA-46 and instructing the PA-46. He's a graduate of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, Arizona, and has a degree in aeronautical science with minors in meteorology and unmanned aircraft systems. He is recognized by the PMOPA Safety and Education Foundation as an MSIP Gold CFI for the piston and turbine PA-46 aircraft. Also, I want to give a shout out to Bill Archer, who is just an incredible volunteer for PMOPA and has done a lot of the legwork, groundwork with regard to the airport operations, meeting with AVP Kenosha Aviation, the FBO, with the airport, with the tower, to make sure that everybody is all coordinated and set for our arrivals next week. So thanks to Bill, thanks to Jacob. And Jacob, with that intro, I will turn it over. Oh, one thing important, Q&A. We want your questions. So one of the reasons we're doing an arrival briefing is for Q&A. So if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A portal. If you're logged in on a laptop, it should be in the bottom center of your Zoom screen. So with that now, Jacob, thank you again, and I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. And again, thank you all for coming. And we're very excited for everyone to join us at the convention in Lake Geneva next week. And with that, we're just going to go over some just initial things for the arrival into Kenosha Airport. So hopefully any questions or any pieces of information that you're hoping to get, that we can cover those. But if not, like Mike said, if you want to put those questions in, we'll do our best to answer them. All right, so the FBO, as Mike said, AVP Kenosha Aviation is going to be the chosen FBO. It's the main FBO there at the Kenosha Airport, which would be Kilo Echo November Whiskey Airport. It's a full service FBO, so we'll have 100 low lead and Jet A positive available for everyone. They do have a Unicom frequency, so if you have any questions in the air or once you get on the ground and you need to get a hold of them, they are also open from 6:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. So hopefully everybody will get in during those times, and we'll just have everybody in and on the ramp. And speaking of the ramp, they have plenty of ramp space. Them being the main FBO, they have multiple hangars, large ramp space available for us to park at, and they've been gracious enough to provide those ramp spaces at no charge to you guys. So no handling fees, no ramp fees. So when you get there, if you're okay leaving your aircraft outside, then we'll get you all parked, all set up. Bill, myself, and other volunteers will be at the airport to help you guys put covers on, tie the aircraft down, get it ready to be on the ramp and safe and ready for you for when we get to the departure time. The only thing that AVP Kenosha would like us to tell you guys is that because of the amount of aircraft that we're going to be having come in, they do not have enough chocks or tie downs in order to, I think Mike and I were talking about this, we have at least 70 airplanes that are going to be planning on coming in. So to tie your aircraft down or chalk it, please bring your own chocks, your tie downs, and your covers, because those won't be available from the FBO. If you are wanting your aircraft to be hangared when it's there, there is plenty of hangar space available. Just make sure that you contact the FBO for the rates and availability there. That will be an extra charge if you would like to be parked inside. The airport diagram, you can see AVP Kenosha there, pretty much dead center of the airport, right next to the tower. And this is a towered airport, so everyone just make sure that you're not heads down or doing anything or not paying attention. Once you get off the runway, make sure we're flying the airplane all the way to the ramp. Make sure you get your taxi instructions, verify those taxi instructions. If this is a new airport for you, make sure you review all the hot spots, which there's only one actually hotspot that the FAA has for this airport, which will be just south of the ramp that we're working on. But in the next slide, I believe it's the next slide, in one of the slides, we'll talk about some NOTAMs and some things going on at the airport, which may take that out of the equation for most people. For the arrivals, so if you're new to this part of Wisconsin, it's a very busy airspace. We're located between Milwaukee and Chicago O'Hare being in the top 3 for daily departure and arrivals for the whole country. And then we're talking very much one of the busiest airspaces in the world. So if you're on an IFR, we really do recommend that you'll be on an IFR flight plan so that you can have traffic advisories and have center and arrival and tower services provided to you in that regard. IFR arrivals, do not cancel your IFR in the air. The tower will do that for you. This is a towered airport. And if you are arriving VFR, just be aware there's heavy traffic in the area. We have Madison, we have Milwaukee, and we have Chicago, and then a whole lot of smaller Delta and untowered airports in the area as well. Flight following is heavily recommended if you're coming in VFR. So use all of your air traffic control, use all the services that they can provide, and just make sure you're being a safe and well-informed pilot on the way in. Airspace, like we were talking about, the Kenosha Airport, right in between there, between Milwaukee and Chicago. Chicago, obviously, being the more heavily trafficked airport. So according to the tower and arrival personnel that we talked to before and got a briefing from, the Chicago heavy arrival times are between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then heavy departure traffic is going to be around 10 a.m. And if you've ever flown inside of this kind of airspace, so around Chicago, Philadelphia, the Northeast, Dallas, when you're near these big Bravo airspaces, you can expect time and having to take time for delays, arrival procedures, arrival vectors. You can expect to be taken down lower in altitude, especially because we're so far up north. Not many arrivals are going to be coming from the north. A lot of you are going to be coming from the south, southeast, southwest regions. So Chicago airspace will be a factor there. So again, leave time for some delays, some arrival procedures, arrival vectors, and just do what air traffic control is asking of you, and make sure you're all briefed up on the arrival. There's only one arrival procedure into Kenosha there, a very simple one. So make sure you brief that. And then, yeah, just be very much ahead of the game, ahead of the airplane, do your briefings. Current NOTAMs for Kenosha. It's a 3-runway airport, but unfortunately for us, it's going to be down to 1 runway when we're there. But luckily, it is the longest runway. So runway 7 left and 25 right is the main runway, which will be the one available. Runway 7 right and 25 left is currently closed by NOTAM, and runway 1533 is closed by NOTAM. Numerous taxiway closures, so ones that are associated with 1533 and on the southern side of the airport are going to be closed as well. So again, make sure you're reviewing NOTAMs. We still have about a week before these arrivals, and everyone's going to be coming in there, so things can change. The ILS was down up until the last couple days, so that has a possibility of going down again, but there are RNAV approaches to runway 7 left and 25 right. The runway 7 right, 25 left, and 1533 will be able to be crossed, and runway 1533 will be used for taxiing while you're there. So there's a possibility they may give you a taxi instruction that includes a runway, so be prepared for that. And then the automated weather broadcast system is currently out of service, which shouldn't be an issue. Towered Airport, they'll be able to give you information in terms of ATIS and weather and current weather as you're arriving. International arrivals, not sure if we have any that are planning on coming in, but if there are, very simple process. The customs services are available on the field, and the Customs and Border Patrol offices are on the same ramp as AVP Kenosha, so very, very easily accessible. Their operational hours from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then their phone number is there on the screen as well, that you can give them a call, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to them. And then transportation, once you're there, again, we'll have a group of volunteers that will be at the FBO, welcoming you there, helping you get the airplanes tied down. And then we'll have shuttles running from the FBO to the Grand Geneva Resort on the 10th and the 11th. Shuttles will be running from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central. And on the 10th of September, that single shuttle will be running on a loop. So expect an arrival and departure every 90 minutes from the FBO. And then 2 shuttles will be running on the 11th for our main arrival. Every 45 minutes, we can expect a departure and arrival for the shuttle at the FBO. And that's what we've got in terms of just the FBO arrivals and everything going on there. One of the other things that we're hoping to give you some insight into is going to be weather and what should be going on. In that part of the country, if we have any Oshkosh people who like to frequent the fly-in every year, you know that this part of the country can be very volatile. We're getting to the tail end of the actual, high thunderstorm probability time of the year. Averages for this part of Wisconsin during the month of September, we're looking at highs in the high 70s to the mid 70s as it goes. So it should be some beautiful weather as we're there. Everything's looking to be on a good trajectory for some good weather while we're there. So that's a good sign for the golf tournament and all that, and just for having a good time and a safe fly-in. We're looking at a prog chart here. If everyone's familiar with and uses aviationweather.gov, it's a very good service that's provided by the Aviation Weather Center. Provides very high quality, good information. And if you're not using it, I highly recommend that you do and use it frequently. Obviously, being far enough out, the forecasts are not going to be perfect for next week, but at least we can get a good idea of what's going on. So up in that region of Wisconsin, we can see some low pressure. This is today. And we can actually watch as that low pressure is going to move. And we can see some fronts going through. So now we're into Friday, Saturday, and now we're getting into next week. So getting into Monday of next week, high pressure should be dominating the Great Lakes region. Hopefully that's going to suppress a lot of the instability in the region. And then as we go through, the high pressure is going to move out, and we are going to get another cold front and a little bit of a stationary front going through the Minneapolis area. It's not able to load the forecast for precipitation, but nothing that's looking like there's going to be a lot of instability or a breeding ground for thunderstorms or anything like that. Obviously, people are coming from all across the country. So if we go back and we look at where some of these weather systems are going to move, crazy enough, I'm an Arizona person, and we're actually getting some rain and activity down here. So we're actually getting some monsoon going on, a lot of high pressure, low pressure hanging out together with some frontal systems. And we can see, early to the middle part of next week, the Pacific Northwest is going to be the Pacific Northwest, some rain, a cold front moving through, some low pressure. And then as we go through to Wednesday and Thursday, not a lot of a possibility of precipitation. Looks like there'll be a little bit in the Midwest, kind of going through Kansas City and then moving into Missouri. But very short-lived between Tuesday and Wednesday, and then moving into Thursday. High pressure again dominating that Great Lakes region. So hopefully we're looking at an actually pretty decent arrival for most of the country. Obviously, Pacific Northwest and Florida, we can expect during this time of year a lot of rain and a lot of precipitation chances in those regions regardless. So just keeping an eye out there. Obviously, we are very much asking of you to be good stewards of the information that you're looking at, getting weather briefings, taking a good look, and having a plan of how you're going to arrive, where you're going to fly, times that you're looking at, and having a plan, but allowing that plan to be movable and being flexible with your schedule and being just safe. We're looking for a lot of safety. We don't want any issues or, aircraft going where they're not supposed to be or flying into weather that they shouldn't be in. So again, just get weather briefings. If you have any questions, MSIP CFIs are available, and our information is available to you on PMOPA website. So feel free to reach out. Be, again, safe flyers, good flyers, train often. And if there's any questions, I think that's the majority of, the weather products that we're going to have access to right now. And then as you continue and as we get closer, obviously we'll have more information available and you all can be receiving weather briefings and just gathering information and using that information to make good decisions.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jacob. Really good overview, good briefing. We have one question that came in. The question is, will AVP Kenosha Aviation be offering PMOPA any fuel discounts? And do you want to take that? Do you want me to take that?
You can. I spoke with Bill. We're still waiting on the exact number. So we will be getting a discount. But again, being a little bit further out, they're still getting exact numbers for where they're going to be at and what kind of discount that they can forward on to us for PMOPA.
Yeah, thanks. And what I can tell you is that they guaranteed that for folks who take on 100 low lead, they will provide full service at the self-service pricing. So that was last time I was there, about 50 cents a gallon savings. And then the second piece of information that's important for our Jet A members is that we know AVP Kenosha is not a CAA FBO, but they will get CAA pricing and they will be providing CAA pricing equivalent for the Jet A pilots. The reason why we're not using Steins, which is the CAA FBO on the field, is because they don't sell 100 low lead. So pretty tough to bring PA-46 group there when you have some people who need 100 low lead their planes would be going home very thirsty if we choose Steins. So AVP folks will be providing CAA pricing. And I know CAA members will say, well, how are they going to get it? Don't worry. I have permission from CAA's president and CEO to get CAA pricing. So we're legit with that. Next question. Got to be more. If your question's too complex, so you don't want to type it in, feel free to raise your hand. You can press the raise hand and we can open up the mics and you can ask the question verbally with this webinar. Another member's asking, will there be anchors available for the tie down areas? Jacob, did Bill pass it along to you?
Yes. There are spots with anchors, and then if those fill up, then the other ones will just need to be chalked. So if you want to bring chalks and make sure you have those available as well. I can verify that with Bill and double check that one, though, if all the spots have anchors in them.
Okay, thanks. And when you get that answer, we can post that in the event app. I can put that in the frequently asked questions and add it to the PMOPA website for under the FBO as well. One of our turbine operators is asking for you to confirm that they do have Jet A positive.
They do have Jet A positive, yes.
Thank you. So somebody's saying, Jacob, I don't know if you can see the questions that are being typed in, but they're asking the arrival doesn't go exactly to this airport. Are you used to doing it? Do they normally break you off on one of the points along the way? Can you talk a little bit more about the arrival?
Yeah, for sure. Let me actually share the screen one more time and we can pull that up. All righty. And yeah, if you're well-versed in arrival procedures, then you know that a lot of these arrivals don't actually go to the airport directly. So we're looking here at the GoPack 3 arrival, which hopefully this will zoom out a little bit. So here, yep, we don't actually go to the Kenosha Airport. GoPack will be a transition point. That's why it's called the GoPack 3. That's kind of the final transition fix before you get to the airport. So if they have you on the GoPack 3, then you can expect to go GoPack, tail, and then if we go to the full arrival here, so landing all airports, you can see in the bottom left corner here, from GoPack on track 075 to tail, and then tracking 075 to expect radar vectors to final on the final approach course. So you'll be getting up to GoPack right about here to tail, and then you can see right here, this arrival is going to feed quite a few airports up in that area, and specifically us there at Kenosha. So if they have you on this arrival, you can expect to go possibly all the way to GoPack to tail, and then you'll get vectors to the airport. And then if it's a good day, you can expect just either vectors to final on an approach or expect a visual approach, and you can expect to come from that northwestern region. So again, take a good look. If you have some higher level for flight, you can look at the 3D view and start looking and get a good visual representation of kind of where you're going to be coming from. So obviously there's the lake. If you're coming off of the GoPack arrival, you'll be expecting to see this portion. And if you're from, mountainous regions like I am out here in the West, then flat ground is kind of hard to pick out some stuff. And there's not a lot of good points to get good visual on, but luckily the Kenosha Airport is on that western edge of the town of Kenosha. So pretty easy to see where those buildings are going to start and then getting cleared for the visual. And then like we talked about in the NOTAMs, we're expecting to use runway 7 left. So we'll be expecting to use the larger runway. If you do arrive at night, it's a very nice lit airport. We've got an approach lighting system for runway 7 left. That's the main IFR runway, so that will have the ILS approach to it as well, which, like I said, the NOTAM has been rescinded, so that approach should be available for us as well. And yeah, so again, get good briefings, take a look at kind of how we're going to arrive to this airport. But to answer the question, if you're on that GoPack arrival, you should expect vectors to come in from that northwest or from the north.
I think it's going to be pretty tough for Chicago Bears fans to do a GoPack arrival, but
it'll be tough, but we're going to get through
it. Nicholas, who is based at Kenosha Airport, put in the chat that there are approximately 40 spots with anchors concreted into the ramp. So thanks, Nicholas.
Thanks, Nicholas.
All right. Another member asked, what's the event app? Did I miss that somewhere? Great question. So this morning, a little after 7 a.m. Eastern, you should have received a know before you go email from the PMOPA. And in there, one of the items is linked to the event app. So it is a standalone event app for the 2025 PMOPA convention on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And it has details about the convention program schedule, speakers, attendee roster, includes frequently asked questions, things of that nature. So if you missed that, please download it. It's going to be helpful to have that information in your hands. Adam says, good job, Jacob. So thanks for that, Adam. And the last question currently in there, but we have time for more. So if you have, it's about the app. So let me do this one first. So how long of a drive from the FBO to the resort? With no traffic, it's about 35 minutes. With traffic, it can be as long as 45 minutes. It's nothing like Chicago traffic where it can add an hour to your commute, but it is a little bit further away, but it's the airport that had the most tie down space, most services. So we think it's worth the ride. We will be providing some refreshments on the shuttle bus that PMOPA is providing, both on Wednesday, Thursday, as well as the return on Sunday. Question about the event app. It is called the PMOPA Convention 2025 app. We use a software called Mobile Up. So if you do a search for 2025 PMOPA Convention Apple Store, if you're on Apple or for Google Play, it should show up that way. And the person that answered that question, a couple of people, I'll send you direct emails afterwards as well. And another person says, great presentation, Jacob and Mike. Thank you. Thank you very much, Shandu. Appreciate it. And when will the shuttles back to the airport on Sunday run? They start at 6 a.m. Central Daylight Time, and they go till noon. The last one departs at noontime. So for those who need to get back early, then that will be available to you. Another person asked, can you touch on the departures for Sunday? Jacob, I know you're going to do a departure briefing on Saturday afternoon where you'll have more current information with regard to weather, etc. So did you want to punt that until Saturday, September 13th?
Yeah, we'll punt the specifics. Some of the information that was in the arrivals will be a little more pertinent on Sunday. So the heavy arrival and departure times from Chicago, that early morning, kind of 7 to 10 window. So again, we really recommend you guys leave IFR. But obviously, with the amount of aircraft that we're going to have, if everyone tries to pick up an IFR clearance at 9 a.m., it's going to get a little a little drowned out. So plan if it's good weather, which obviously the forecast hasn't quite come out for that far down the road. But depending on weather, if you're able to depart VFR, that is an option as well. Departure procedures, we'll have a little more in depth on that during the departure briefing on Saturday. But again, Howard Airport, so they'll be able to handle your departure under IFR and then transfer you over to Milwaukee departure, which will then get you over to Chicago Center. And obviously in this kind of airspace, they've got some pretty standard stuff that they're going to throw at you. So we'll have a little more in-depth information on that for the departure briefing on Saturday. But we recommend going IFR, but have a backup plan if it's good weather, or if you're planning on departing VFR, same idea and same considerations apply, that we really recommend you getting flight following. And if you're going to go over the lake, understanding and taking a good look at where Chicago airspace is going to be at. We don't want to be sending airplanes into the Bravo without clearances. So yeah, the specifics we'll get really deep into on Saturday for the departure briefing. But for now, yeah, again, we'll just recommend you flying IFR or having good briefings and good understanding of airspace for where you're going to be planning on going.
Great. And I put the links to the app, the event app, in the chat for folks. So everybody should be able to click on the links there. I did one for the Apple App Store and one for the Google Play Store. Another question came in: prior to the tower opening, do you get clearance from Chicago or Milwaukee?
Great question. It's Milwaukee. So if we go here, info, clearance. So Kenosha clearance delivery will just be ground frequency for clearance. If the tower is open, if the tower is not open, then you have an RCO for Milwaukee clearance delivery on 118.6.
Great. All right, we're at almost 7:30 Eastern. This is really fantastic, Jacob. Great information, really great engagement with the attendees. So excited to welcome everybody next week in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thanks for your time this evening. Thanks for participating tonight. And Jacob, thanks once again. Have a good weekend and safe flight out to Kenosha, Wisconsin next week. Take care, everyone.